Hey everyone, this is episode 42 of Noodle Time. Welcome back. Here with me is the biggest Barb Olivieri hater out there, OSG. How's it going, OSG?
Wow, coming in hot already just to open up the show just like that. Okay, okay, all right. I was gonna
I
I was
mean,
gonna praise her this show, but man,
oh yeah,
well,
I mean, I know you as a person, you were just gonna go ahead and defend Shaq Room right away, but I had to go ahead and open it that way.
hey, it's okay. We said last week if Shea Room ain't coming back anytime soon, somebody's gonna have to step up and fill that role in that camp position. So I'm just glad there's somebody's doing it. So hey, let's talk good about Barb today.
No, yes, and definitely for Wednesday because we can also talk about what happened on Saturday, which it was definitely not a good time, and yeah, we're here to go ahead and discuss all the three teams, all the games that happened this week. We got four games this past week, and all three teams were kind of bad in a way. And thankfully, the Dash went that way, specifically on Wednesday. But there's definitely a lot of hate to go around. So I'm looking forward to that, especially us coming out of the Dynamo 2 that just ended 1-0, a loss for Dynamo 2 at Vancouver Whitecaps 2. Kind of the last few minutes of the game, 10-ish or so minutes, and I'm still disappointed. And just kind of like coming out of last week, if you can recall, that was a bad time too.
Bro, like, come on. What was he? I mean, what was he thinking? And what was he doing right there? We've been playing out the back the whole game, and then he just wants to fumble it right friggin' there. Like, and that's the game winning goal. That's the only goal of the game. How annoying. So, no, none of these. Once we get past Wednesday, the rest of this episode is going to suck.
Yeah, yeah, but we just go ahead and blast by those. But yeah, let's go ahead and get started with the Dash because they played two games this week. On Wednesday, they played their second game in the Challenge Cup against the Red Stars at home, being a 2-0 win, their first win of the Challenge Cup of this year. They're now one win and one loss so far. And on Saturday, they played to a 2-0 loss at Oil Rain back in Seattle. And if you just compare those games right away, it's the difference is essentially just night and day, which we it can just go ahead and try to dissect here because the main thing we're gonna start with Wednesday, and the main thing here being that on Wednesday it was the first start for Barbara Olivier for the dash, which I'm very happy about. And out of that, she went ahead and scored her first goal with a dash, which is just awesome to see. And yeah, Diana Ordonez, being the playmaker that she is, scoring the penalty kick to put the game away at the 72nd minute. And there's no. I feel like there's not like a lot to talk about this game only because Chicago has been one of those teams that have been pretty off to start things out. But well, right away you can just tell that from this particular lineup, coming out of last week, it wasn't a thing that like a lot of players that were so out of position or just like players playing in like a different assignments per se, kind of like a midfield. What do you think?
Yeah, well, it's Challenge Cup, so we kind of expected a little bit of a different lineup from Sam Lady this week, being middle of the week, and then having to go to Seattle on Saturday. So I like what he did with the lineup. He kept some of the first teamers in, and then he brought in a couple pieces, and I like what these pieces are doing. So back line was Dadasco on the right. Katie Lynn got a start this time instead of coming off the bench. She's still recouping a little bit, but it looks like she's getting back into the full force of things. But she got the start right there. Jalissa Harris got the start in the back right there, teaming up with her. I think that's her first official start as well. So, congrats to her. And she played well. I like what she did. And then Chappie on the left, and then in the midfield it was Smith, of course, but with Smith it was Hurst, and we've seen Hurst one other time before this season. I think maybe twice now, and she's looked really nice. And so it looks like we hit another plus mark on the draft pick right there between Jalissa Harris and Sophie Hurst. And then up at the right, well, actually, sorry, you had your girl at the cam, Barb Oliveri, playing the cam right there instead of Joelle Anderson getting the start, which I was like, okay, I like this, it's a Challenge Cup game, so let's just see what happens. You had a Losey on the right, Sanchez did start on the left, and Adornez up top. So it was what, one, two, three, four different. Well, if you want to count Katie Lynn right now too, so five girls if you're counting Katie. Katie was put into the lineup from normal match day. So it was interesting, but I like the pieces that they did right there. Alosi's still trying to find her feet, but yeah, you mentioned Barb. She 5 minutes into the game getting that cross from Sanchez, and Sanchez, of course, with another beautiful cross, and then Oliveira just being in the right place, right time, finishing. Usually where you find Ordonez, except this time it was Barb. So great finish. She had a great game. He ended up being man of the match as well. So looked good. So I'm sure Sam Lady said something about her in the press conference. I think it's pretty obvious he did. I just don't remember what it is right now, but uh, that's a bonus moving forward, brother. Shea Groom's gonna be hurt for a minute, so Barb, we need that cam. We need that cam.
Oh yeah, and one of the main things from this lineup that I was taking into consideration was to see how like the difference between this lineup and the lineup from Saturday, because there weren't there were a couple adjustments in terms of substitutions, but I noticed that the attack for the game against Oil Rain, which was the 2-0 loss on the road, that was a it was disappointing considering that we had the opportunities were lacking and the dash were barely building upon the attack against Seattle's defense.
Dude, I mean, two different games. Obviously, it was the Wednesday was at home, and then we had to go to Seattle. We know Seattle's a tough place to play. Ola Rain's a tough team. Sam Lady going back to his old stomping ground. We thought, well, I thought we were going to be able to put up a bigger fight, but that offensive. Somebody needs to let loose the juggernaut that is a Maria Sanchez, Deanna Ordonez, Salmon. We need to let them girls loose. I don't know what's going on because you have some fire up top, and we just can't get goals, can't get the attack going or consistently going. And OL Reign, they controlled this game. They controlled this game. It was their game to lose, and they didn't even let us have a chance. That was just kind of sad to get out of. And can I do a bash?
Sure.
Both the goals that were scored on us. All right, well, just the defending was off. Both the goals that were scored on us. Jane Campbell was inside our own goal, trying to make a save. I'm like, come on, man. You got to know where you're at all times. Like, it's not like she would have made the save anyways, but she was inside her own goal, behind the line. So even if she does make the save, she's inside the friggin' goal. So that's my. I'll leave it. I'll leave my Jane Campbell bash that little bit.
Hey man, I think we've been saying it since like the start of the season. Like the Jane Campbell hate is kind of normal at this point, and she's gonna have to prove her game because we do have a couple goalkeepers breathing down her neck for the starting spot. So she's got to be careful here.
Yeah, and to credit to her on Wednesday, she did have a good game, and when I'm watching that, and there's people that I do kind of focus on this episode, I make sure I watch them during the game so I can make sure I can back it up. So, Wednesday she did have a good game. She made some great saves. Even on Saturday, she made some good saves. Uh, I'm not saying she's the worst keeper in lifetime or whatever. I just she yeah.
I know.
It's all right though. Like you said, it's okay. It's okay. So we'll have to figure out what's up with Emily Alvarado. Yeah, Alvarado. I think she came in hurt, so we'll see. We'll have to see what's going on with her because I think it's just still the normal. I don't even know who the backup keeper is now since everybody's hurt.
Yeah, and I've been saying this as a joke over this past weekend, but I'm kind of tired of former Dash players scoring against the Dash because with last time in the first Challenge Cup game against Kansas City Current, CC Kaiser was just was all over the place, just wrecking us apart or tearing us apart. And this game against Seattle, Veronica Lasco, goal and assist, and it's just like, guys, where have you been doing this for the Dash, but like consistently, and now they just come in and just do their thing against us, which is I'm kind of salty about. And look, they gotta do what they gotta do, but at the same time, it's like I want the pain to end, please.
Yeah, and so what? And in that second game that we lost 2-0, so he kind of went back to his normal lineup right there. I'll run through it real quick, and then I wanted to ask you a question. But on the back line, it was left to right, back to Chapman, Jacobs, Prysock back into the start. She's not injured no more. Didasco on the right, of course. In the middle, back to Vigiano and Schmidt. And then you had Sanchez on the left, Salmon on the right, Ordonez up top, and you had Peterson playing the cam. All right, so from what you saw, what did you think of Peterson at the cam?
Peterson as a cam, I didn't think it was as effective as Barbara Olivieri just compared to in the last game, and it's kind of easy to say that way because it was a different lineup, and in this time in particular against Seattle, things didn't click. So maybe in the right conditions, it could have been different, but at the same time, according to Peterson, I didn't think she did much of a effective job.
Yeah, it seems like Barb Oliveri seems like she's kind of like that young player still trying to work her way up into the lineup. Is the feeling you get from Sam Lady? So hopefully a little more time she'll work her way into maybe that first team, get some first team minutes with the someone's got to cover for Shea while she's out because we need that cam covered. So I guess we'll just continue to go by committee in that cam position and figure it out. But another one. So Katie Lind is back. Price Sock is of course the other center back. Uh, what's going to happen to Jacobs whenever Katie Lynn is really 90% fit and ready to go, or 100% fit and ready to go, and it's back to her and Pricesock in the middle. Just of course, at the beginning of the season, you said Chapman would start on the left wing, and then I said Jacobs would start on the left wing. But uh, with the injuries, Jacobs had to start in the middle. What are we going to do with Jacobs, man?
Oh no, yeah, it's gonna be rough. It's gonna be a lot of tough questions to answer for Sam Lady to see what clicks. And it seems like at this point in the season, I think Sam has a good idea as to how they want to roll things out, but there's also these types of miscues, like especially what happened on the road and what keeps happening at home, which is a place where they should be getting those points. If they aren't getting those results, like on either home or away, and I know it's just still pretty difficult for Sam, and I can definitely understand like his current situation as to find consistency. One of the main things that I've been repeating like over time since he started, and I know, yeah, it's tough at this point, but I think he has an idea, but I don't know if it's just like a combination of the players not being consistent enough to prove themselves like week in and week out, and at this point it's just hard to tell.
Right? Yeah. Hey, you got to be a happy coach whenever you have players. It's tough to decide who your starting 11 is because you have 14, 15 good players. So hey, I like it. I can't you can't complain about that when you have great players. So you just got to figure out which 11 he needs to put on the field, and then how he can work in the subs and rotate that lineup to where it gels the best. And because man, there's a lot of firepower on the dash, and whew, once they figure it out, man, I think they're just going to explode, and you're just going to see the goals coming in left and friggin' right. And uh, so maybe we'll just make a run into the end of the season and then into the playoffs where we're winning games 3-0, 3-1, 3-2.
No, yeah, and they're gonna have to go ahead and sort something out very quick because the next three games are gonna be probably the toughest games that we're gonna have, or towards the end of the month, which we do have next Friday or this upcoming Friday. Uh, Portland at home, the Portland Thorns, San Diego Wave the week after at home, and of course, Kansas City Currents on the road to end the month. So it's gonna be a tough stretch.
Yeah, I was that sound effect was for Kansas City Current. And we don't like them. we don't like them at all.
Yeah.
damn, damn. Hey, that's fine. They're a rival. They're a rival. So we'll just have to kick their butt, but in Kansas City too, though. So that'll be tough.
No, yeah, it's if they're gonna win road games, they better win that one, you know.
Yeah, for real,
But yeah, it's they gotta get those home games though because I'm getting pissed.
dude. No kidding, man. Home games. I mean, I know, but you're used to not having fans there to really make a difference into the game. But you're playing at home, and I know like when I drive into Houston just to go to a friggin' game, like I feel it when I'm in Houston, like I feel different. And I know I belong there. So like that's where the home field advantage aspect comes. Like you just feel at home, you feel better, you play better. But these girls I guess they just don't feel at home at Shell Energy. So I don't know what's going on there. They got to find that home gel or whatever the heck is going on right there.
No, yeah, and before we go ahead and close um, this segment for the dash, how did the scorecard go for NWSL?
Dude, it's just crazy, bro. Washington Spirit are still haven't lost. They're 3-3. They're 3 wins and 3 draws, no losses. But they beat San Diego Wave 3-1 in Washington. So, but Spirit, man, I guess they're ready to come back and fight again. Orlando beat Racing Louisville, so Louisville still has not got a win yet. North Carolina Courage and Portland Thorns fight for 3-3. So Portland is 3 wins and 3 draws and no losses still. So,
Then
yeah, so they're not letting nobody beat them, but they're matching every goal that they give up. So that's crazy for them. And then of course Olo Rain beat the Dash. Olo Rain now take over first place because those other two teams drew. So I think that's because where's that 9-12? Yeah, they got 13. Olo Rain's got 13 points. And then today, since we are recording on Sunday, it's the friggin' Gotham with their fourth win as well, man. They beat Chicago Red Stars in Chicago. I know Chicago's not much of anything right now, anyways, but in Gotham with another friggin' win, crazy. Angel City, yay! They beat Kansas City Current 3-2. So
yeah,
yeah, right. Good down with the current. Down with the current. But as far as the standing goes, like I said, Rain, Portland, Washington, and then Gotham take up the top four. And so 13, 12, 12, 12. That's the top four. Houston's sitting in eighth, which is out of playoffs, of course. So got to do something about that. Boo hoo. But that's your NWSL roundup.
yeah. And with that, we're gonna go ahead and move on to the Dynamo with
Woo!
a 0-0 draw, still unbeaten at home, which they keep harping about. But this result, though, it needed to be a win. and a team against Real Salt Lake. I definitely knew that this team was going to be difficult to break down and difficult to earn a result against, even at home, as they've been proving so far this year. But just how the Dynamo put, or at least what they put out on the field, just felt like they were bound to score a goal, but somehow it didn't happen.
Yeah, what they you say what they put out on the field. So real quick, the only lineup change that came in was we got the great news right before the game started yesterday that teenage Davy has put himself up in the hospital bed and hurt himself, and it looks like it's a minimum of 6 weeks. So he's going to be out for a minute, and he's going to be hurting. And so Mikel got the start because Eric Shevchenko is not ready yet. It sounded like he took a knock in practice the other day, and then on Saturday morning, I guess he was welcome to Houston on Saturday morning, and somebody smashed into the back of his of his vehicle, and then did a good
Yeah,
did a good number. I don't think he got hurt from that at all, but uh, he's nursing something, so we don't know if when he'll be ready to go. But Mikel has ended up starting with Bartlow in the back. So, did you see that Eric got hit?
no, yeah, I did see the picture that was shared. I think Eric shared it via Instagram, but I did
Yeah,
see the picture on Twitter. And no, yeah, that was a big hit
yeah,
there. And I used to I saw the signs, and that's pretty close to the heights too, the heights area, and that's pretty close to where I used to go to high school. So that's pretty interesting to see. But yeah, it sucks that he already got into like a big wreck. This as soon as he comes into Houston, like a month or a couple months after. But
and you know
but
you
yeah, that
you
just
know that's
sucks.
got to be a rental still too. So like, man,
Oh
so
yeah.
so easy money, but yeah, someone hit him pretty hard though from behind. So that was some good damage for what he was driving.
Yeah, definitely distracted though. But yeah, speaking of distracted, this offense, Corey Baird, a 9 again. Tell me about it.
There's no what. Man, I don't know, dude. I don't know. I mean, all right, like you said, we're going against RSL. RSL's defensively sound. I didn't expect a lot of goals coming into this game. Or good fight. Last year it was 0-0 draw at home against these guys, and I forget what it was on the road. But I think we lost to them. But we've always played a tough, good fight against them. So we're like, okay, where's the goals going to come from? Where's the goals going to come from? No, everybody's jokingly keeps saying Bear, but nobody's really saying Bears. So some are saying Bossy, some are saying Franco. Maybe Herrera gets a free kick or something or another. But the good question is, when's Baird? When's Baird gonna come on? You can't just be an assist. You're our nine. You're our striker. I'm glad you're able to make all your runs and pressure whenever the opponent has the ball. But can you strike? And I'm not talking about bowling. I'm talking about soccer. Can you be a striker? Because he just doesn't do enough for me, bro. It doesn't cut it, and I don't know if it's just the style that Ben Olsen wants to continuously use. If because I mean, Sebas didn't look too bad when he did come in, and you can see he's trying a little harder and he's hustling here and there, and he's making runs now as well. So maybe he's given up the fight and decided to fight and try to get his spot back, and maybe we'll see him back in the starting lineup soon.
No, yeah, and I would definitely say that in the current situation, or at least how things stand when it comes to the front three, I feel like whenever Ibrahim Aliyu comes in, there's definitely going to be a way for him to start right away. And obviously, assuming that he's already uh, acclimated and has gone through training already, only because just by his own presence, he can just either as a winger or as a nine. I think he has like a lot of opportunities to start right away. And Corey Baird in this game, I feel like this was his game to capitalize on those opportunities, and he just didn't bury those. And look, if he got an assist here, cool. But I mean, at this point, like Ben Olsen is giving you a lot of faith, and he went full 90, like on the top without much to. Which once again, like I joke, I always like to joke about the assists, and he contributes to the game, which is nice. But at the same time, if you're gonna have these types of results, which are gonna cost us points, it's going to hurt us in the long run. So he's going to have to wake up at this point because, uh, like I said, Ibrahim Aliyu, he's right there. He's ready to come in, and he's going to go ahead and swap someone out at some point.
Yeah, that's the other question. Where's Liu going to play? It'll most likely be on the wing. Probably what we're hearing. So that means Franco's going to have to go to the bench and wait for to sub out Bossy, and then Baird's going to continue to start up top unless Sebas can work his way in. But if a Leo can come in and start as striker, then does Baird go back out to the wing? Obviously, I think he does because every time a striker gets subbed in, Baird goes out to the wing, and that's a winger subbed out. So uh, yeah, it'll be interesting. I hope Liu is good enough to make that kind of that tremble, that kind of that wave in the pool to where he's good enough to be considered into an everyday starting lineup, and that gives Ben Olsen some problems on who do I start today? Who do I start today? So I'll take it. I hope so. But I I if Aliyu can come in and make a difference, depending on what it is, striker or wing, and Sebas is doing the work and coming back in, maybe we'll find that that finish that in the final third, and we'll start winning some games instead of these little draws, these 0-0, 1-1 kind of games.
No, yeah, and also I was kind of salty with our offense because the Steve Clark got man of the match, and I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but I feel like in this situation, I think it's more towards the positive side because it's been very he's been pretty good in the sticks, and also credit to him this game because he did went ahead across 20,000 minutes logged in MLS. So shout out to him, and I know they clean sheet, which is pretty nice. Like even though it wasn't a win, it's still pretty nice that we haven't conceded at home. And I think at this point we're the only team in the league to not concede a goal at home, so that's also cool. And I guess like as in a sense, they have they can just go ahead and set the standard when it comes to just being defensive minded to like grind their results as much as possible, and I just hope that they take that kind of feat with pride because we like it's been like a long time since we had like this type of defensive team that doesn't like it's not easy to like break down at home, which is pretty nice to see.
Dude, and I like that Hadabi gets hurt and Mikel comes in. Of course, I believe in Mikel, even though he hasn't been given but what 2 games now. Uh, so the question was when you saw this starting lineup, you're like, okay, so are we gonna give up our first goal today against RSL? And it's most likely is the answer would have been yeah. And so, you know, uh, shout out to those two, Bartlow, to keep doing what he's doing and controlling that defense back there. He's showing what a superstar he's going to become in the league if this is going to be everyday Bartlow. And then Mikel, he didn't do bad at all, man. He played well. He fit in just right. Sometimes you forgot it was Hadabi, that it wasn't Hadabi. Whenever you're watching the game, you're like, oh yeah, shoot, you know. But so credit to the D and the way they played. They did pretty well.
No, yeah, Houston coming off with a 0-0 draw here at home, and which was pretty disappointing, all things considered. But we got to move on at this point. Another points for the standings for us, and we do have 2 games coming up this week. We do have the round of 36 game at home against Sporting Kansas City on Wednesday, and we also have our next home game against the Seattle Sounders. And I feel like it's going to be a pretty tough week. Both teams, well, Kansas City is in a different situation. They are coming out of a win against Seattle on the road, which is their first league win of the season, and they were the only team to not win a game up until that point. And I don't know, yeah, at this point they're just looking for to get back on their feet, and they're going to be coming in inspired. So we're going to have to watch out for that on Wednesday. Even though if it's just an Open Cup game, the approach might be different as to who gets to start ahead of the game against Seattle that following weekend. And I don't know. Yeah, it's gonna be. I think it's gonna be one of those the type of results, kind of like what we saw against Tampa Bay Rowdies. We'll see how that goes. And my main concern is definitely gonna be the game against Seattle because those guys are no joke. They're gonna come in with their big guns, and it might be just one of those games, kind of like the one we just saw against Wrestle Lake, that they're gonna go ahead and get at you right away, and you're gonna have to be ready on your feet without slipping any mistakes.
Yeah, it's going to be two different type of games that we're playing this week against SKC on Wednesday and Seattle on Saturday. It's going to be completely two different ones. We're going to be on our hind legs against Seattle probably the entire game, where they're just going to be pushing and attacking us, and we'll see what we can get on the counter, or if we can build up any nice offense against Seattle, and we'll hold it down like we always do on the defensive side, and we'll keep some grit in there, just as long as we don't give up any early goals and get the morale down. Now, as far as Wednesday and SKC, man, uh, it is an Open Cup game, and like you said, I'm pretty sure that we're going to have a couple adjustments in the starting lineup. Who that's going to be, uh, anybody can take a friggin' guess, because there's no telling what Ben Olsen's going to do. So no one can tell me that they can predict what Ben Olsen's going to do. But it'll be interesting. It's a must-win game. Got to win the game, or you're out of the tournament. So you're playing your rival. They're coming here. Wednesday nighter. I think it's a 7-1-3 night as well. So we like to get a little bit of noise out there, even though it's a Wednesday night game. But it'll be interesting. Hopefully they'll push a little bit more, since they're using some of these dose. Maybe they'll be using some of these dose players, and they like to push into the attack. So maybe that'll give him motivation to push a little more in this Open Cup game, and see if we can just pin not Seattle, SKC down.
No, but yeah, and before I move on to Dynamo 2, would you give us the rundown as to MLS 1 this past weekend?
Yeah, dude. So Montreal wins again. Crazy. They were started up, went down, started up, and then so they beat Orlando 2-0. Charlotte beat NYFC 3-2. Cincinnati win again, beat DC United 2-1. Inter Miami beat Atlanta 2-1. Philadelphia went up to Red Bulls and won 1-0. San Jose with an upset right here against LAFC. And some say it's not an upset. San Jose is pretty good, and we got to respect them. But as of right now, this is an upset in the book. So they beat LAFC 2-1. New England goes to Toronto, and New England wins again, so 2-0. Nashville beats Chicago 3-0. The Galaxy go back to their losing ways, and they lose at home to Colorado, and they lose 3-1. So that's kind of be embarrassing for LA Galaxy. Portland and Austin go 2-2. Vancouver and Minnesota go 3-2. FC Dallas and St. Louis was postponed, so that'll be replayed at another date. And then, like we said today, Seattle hosted SKC, and Seattle lost 2-1. SKC going up to Seattle and getting a nice friggin' win, which is pretty remarkable to do for them, getting their first win of the season. But that's your MLS roundup.
But yeah, I was watching a little bit of the Colorado game. I don't know what the Galaxy are gonna do at this point because they are in. a big problem, and they're now equal in the same amount of points as SKC. So they're gonna be battling for the bottom of the barrel at this point, this early on, and I don't know how they just keep losing this amount of games at home and expecting to turn things around without a plan set. So that's going to be pretty interesting for LA Galaxy to sort out with what remains of the season.
Hey, somebody's got to be the wooden spoon winner. So as long as it's not us.
Oh yeah, and yeah. With that, let's go ahead and move on to Dynamo 2. Uh,
You have, well,
we yeah, as we, as I mentioned before, we last week we came we started recording the episode after the Dynamo 2 game, which happened to be a pretty bad loss at home. And lo and behold, this weekend rolls in, and it's another loss, but this time on the road to start the episode. And this game was pretty ugly, kind of like the last one, but this time in particular, like it looked like they anchored the defense very well to an extent of the game, but Omar Gray just losing the ball of the press by Vancouver to concede a very awful goal in the I believe he was shy of 50 minutes uh, left of regulation in the second half, which is disappointing. And I know, yeah, the Dynamo 2 is like a different team right now. Like I don't know if it's just like a mental issue or rather just like an issue with game plan. And look, Vancouver, I think in the last three games, they scored like 3 or 4 games, they scored like around 15 goals, and this game was going to be pretty difficult to set up defense against, and that was seen in this game, but. They just keep dropping these results. They keep dropping points, and at this rate, like it's gonna be a pretty tough season right away because like it's not looking good for them in the past few games, and they're not being consistent enough.
dude, it's crazy watching Dose and watch how they play. Like they look good. That they're getting the attack. You hear Papa's name called out several times. He's missing some shots, and then all of a sudden, then the game changes and we're playing defense in the rest of the time, and it's just we're just getting pounded and just waiting for him to score a goal and to score a goal and to score another goal on us. And I don't know. I don't know what's going on with Dynamo. Like you said, they're just so inconsistent. They can't figure out how to play as a unit altogether. And it's not like it's a different lineup every week because the lineups have been pretty close to the same, and everybody's been practicing with each other. So these boys should. I mean, they're talented. They're talented. So don't know what's really going on and why they can't get that click together. I mean, you said mental mistakes. The mental mistake they gave up the goal earlier in the game before that. Taylor Maples gave a pass back to the keeper, and it wasn't very hard at all. So and uh, the attacker was able to run onto it. Luckily, Taylor Maples was able to catch him and get back in his way. So then he ended up losing the ball. So it ended up being no harm, no foul. But uh, it's I don't know, man. It's they should be excited to go out there and play a game like that, and you gotta focus and play for 90 minutes strong. I don't know what's going on right there. Nobody stood out today as like a. Felt like nobody stood out as a captain either. Now, of course, not like we got the best video to watch the entire team out there. So somebody could be out there trying to lead the team together. Hopefully, somebody is, but missing that leader on the field is what it looks like.
No, yeah, and in this type of situations, it's when it matters the most, especially when you're trying to like gather everyone, try to build something from here, and just try to address those kinds of mistakes. And and like you said, these guys are extremely talented. They're there for a reason, and just coming out of last year, like our expectations are high because of that. And I know, yeah, at this point on, like it's still pretty early in the MLS Next Pro season. Like they can definitely turn things around. But at the same time, I've noticed that the the main or like the theme I've seen so far is just like individual mistakes costing the team points or just costing them results either at home or on the road, and that's the main thing that I wanted to bring out when it comes to like mentality. Is it's just like an issue that it just comes down to just being focused on the game, or just rather have just staying on your toes at all times, because I feel like they don't look like they're lowering their guard down, but at the same time, like you have to be in the right moments, like in those kind of situations like we saw tonight. Like it's like if you're not ready, or like at least ready to deal with the press, then you're gonna concede those mistakes that are going to cost the team in the down the road.
Yeah, and you know they're smart kids because it's still kind of the same core that we had from last year. There's just a few good missing pieces. And Kenny Bundy's a good coach. I mean, nobody's going to argue that. So it's just man, just I don't know. That's just they're just playing in this funk and they're just stuck there. I mean, it could just be one of those soccer god things, and they're just keeping them from playing well, and they're not going to release them until later on in the season, which is fine. Uh, you know, the thing with next pro is like if you're losing and your team's not gelling, it's easy to switch a player out on next pro because it doesn't matter if you lose. So I can make adjustments to the lineup if I feel I need to. So you don't want to get into too much of a rut and then you lose your starting position to somebody else. And so y'all turn it up and turn it up now because I don't know, man. That was just a poor performance today in Vancouver, and it started out well, and then it just went to the barn caught on fire.
Literally. But yeah, it's just disappointing to see. But yeah, from here, like it's gonna be like I don't know how they're gonna be building things up from here. But like I said, if they just gather around like in the moment that matters, especially at this moment, then they just have to talk things through and make sure everyone's on the same page, and everyone is ready to get results, because at this point, like you're gonna have to turn things around right away to get those points, like home and away. And they do have their next game coming up. They're back at home at Sabercats Stadium to host Real Monarchs. And it's going to be one of those results that they're going to have to prove that they they're ready to turn things around. Like they have to show us right now that they are for real. Like they're like the past few results have been like a fluke, hopefully. And but yeah, like at this point, like they have to prove it to us, because like it's getting really disappointing.
Yeah, man. I mean, they'll have to figure out. Like you said, it is early in the season. These boys will figure it out because you see too many moments where they're playing well and then it just falls apart and they're not able to get it back together. So this is going to be up to the coaching staff to figure this out as we go forward and to get Donna Dose back on track and get me back into that winning way and then once we start winning, that'll give some players some motivation to play. Like they'll be playing really hot, and that'll get them some look from the first team, and maybe there'll be a need where we need to use them in the first team. So come on, there's a lot to benefit from it, guys. Y'all just need to wake your butts up. Start playing the soccer y'all were playing last year, because right now I don't know what y'all's identity is. Uh,
I mean, I need it. I'm looking for it. I'm looking forward to it, but I don't see
yeah.
it. And then I end up just being pissed after a Dynamo 2 game like tonight again. And and yeah, how is that MLS Next Pro standings going, or at least the results from our rivals here?
Yeah, man. So where did we have it? SKC hosted San Jose, and not sorry, they didn't host. They went San Jose hosted SKC, and SKC ended up winning 2-1. So good for them. Wah wah wah. And then friggin' Austin is on a friggin' roll again, bro. They went to Portland and they ended up winning 1-0. So good
Yep.
for them. Wah, 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 wah. And then North Texas hosted St. Louis. We know St. Louis isn't that good, so North Texas finally gets him a good 4-1 win. And then, of course, if I need to remind everybody, Houston with their loss. So, oops,
More.
yeah, I hit schedule instead of standings, but it's it's not looking good in the standings. If you want to go by conference, wow. I mean, Colorado and Austin are at the top with 19 points apiece. Third place Tacoma has 14. So there's already a 5 point gap right there between second and third place. Well, first and third place. Friggin' Friggin' crazy. So Austin's second. North Texas is in fifth. SKC's in seventh. Houston's in 10th. And if you do the overall conference standings. So and they're gonna have to step it up because ain't looking good. Whenever you go look in their division that they play in, they're in sixth place out of seventh to only St. Louis. So
Yep. Well said. That's pretty much Dynamo 2 so far. But yeah, it just sucks because, like I said before, these kids are pretty good coming out of last year. Like they're supposed to be incredible, and look like it. The players leave, players join, like and it can things can change, but at the same time, come on, man, give us something at this point.
it's for real, and it's like we're asking for something from all three teams right now. It's like Dynamo, can you find a way to score? Dash, can you win at home? And in Dose, you just need to find a friggin' identity, please, and decide what team you're gonna be. But uh, tough weekend. Four friggin' games. We scored 2 goals in those 4 games. Gave up 3 goals. So ugly soccer for a week. Good thing, I guess it was okay that we got the win on Wednesday and then just made the weekend super ugly. We had a little bit of weather, so maybe that was the prognosis to the weekend coming in was the weather on Friday. But shit, 0-0-0 points for the big three on the weekend. But hey, we got the 4 games coming up this week, all at home. So Wednesday night is Open Cup against SKC. So get out there and go to it, guys. And then Friday night, the Dash hosts Portland. Saturday night, the Dynamo hosts Seattle, and then Sunday night, Dose hosts RSL. So you got 4 chances to go see your Bright Oranges this weekend or during the middle of the week. So get out there and go see them. Fox, get
Yeah.
out there, go see your team.
No, yes, I'll do my best, but yeah, like the last thing I was gonna say that is look, the thing I learned about this season is that as long as it doesn't rain and we stop the game for 3 hours, we should be good. So hopefully, like it's not the case this week, even though it looks like it's gonna rain. So no, at least no lightning though, no lightning. I should say because the lightning is bringing us bad luck so far.
Yeah, for real. Just take it easy. Just forget the weather. We got those big, nice, tall buildings surrounding the stadium to protect us from the lightning. So just play the game. Don't worry about it. No, I'm just kidding. But I'll be ready to get into this week and forget about this past week, and I'm ready for the Open Cup game already. And then it's like I said, it's four home games this weekend, so uh, I'd like to go spend a week in Houston and catch them all, but we'll see how that goes. But,
For sure. No, but yeah, guys, that's gonna do it for the episode. Anything else you want to say, OSG?
nah, man, same as always. Just talk to us on in the Discord or on Twitter. You know how to find us. Hey, please go in whatever platform you're listening on. Please go rate and subscribe. Please rate us. We're not going to cry about what rating you're going to get. Just hey, please rate us whatever platform you're on. If you watch us on YouTube, give us a little thumbs up down there. And shoot, just tell us hey how you watch us, and if you like the show or you hate the show, if you hate me or you want to tell me to shut up or Fox to leave Barbara alone. Just hey, let us know. Let us know on Twitter. But otherwise, you know me, guys. Hey, until next time.
Yeah, guys, thank you guys so much for listening, and stay noodle.
H's.